Alright, welcome back. In this video, we're going to talk about ideology of the political parties. Let's get right to it. So what we want to talk about is, well, ideology, conservative, liberal, libertarian, and the political parties, Democrats and Republicans. Alright, so I touched on this in the first video, 4.1 of this unit. But just to refresh, conservative ideology typically is more tradition-based, focuses on things like crime and punishment and having a strong military, individualism, personal responsibility. These are some of the things that a conservative might be focused on. Liberals, on the other hand, often favor a stronger role for government in smoothing out economic inequality, in promoting minority rights and that sort of thing, and typically favor more social, individual, personal freedom and liberty. Libertarians typically want a maximum amount of freedom. They want freedom from the government both in social issues, so personal choices, as well as economic things, where they favor very low taxes and a government that's really just involved in protecting property rights and courts and justice, that kind of thing, some basic defense. Now the question is, how do those ideologies fit in with our political parties? Now, libertarians are largely going to find themselves to be the group without a political party to call their own. Liberals are most commonly found in the Democratic Party, while conservatives are found often in the Republican Party. Now, notice that Democrat and liberal are not interchangeable terms. Neither are conservative and Republican. So please be careful about that when you're writing FRQs for AP Gov. They're not the same thing. An ideology is a consistent set of values and beliefs. Liberal, libertarian, and conservatives, those are political ideologies. A political party, on the other hand, is a group of people who come together to try to win political office and to gain power. They're not the same thing. Now, it's true that these ideologies might have more of a home and more of an influence in one party than the other. So, let's take the Democratic Party, again just going alphabetically. So the Democratic Party definitely aligns itself more closely to the liberal ideological positions. So we can think of things like reduced defense spending is usually an important part of a Democratic Party ideology or platform. Another thing would be that they favor public school education as opposed to vouchers and private schools, which are more favored by conservative and libertarian ideologies. They typically favor increased social welfare spending, so programs like welfare, food stamps, Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, things like that to help the elderly or to help the poor. They often favor things that would increase access to health care, that might make it easier, like paying down or getting rid of, eliminating student loan debt, things like that. These would all be parts of more liberal aspects of the Democratic Party's ideology. So what about the Republican Party? Well, we said that they are typically more conservative, so that means things like increased defense spending, but lower spending on social welfare programs, especially ones that help lower income people. They are often in favor of reducing spending on public schools, and we'll talk about this later on, but sometimes increasing access to vouchers, things that would make it easier to go to charter or to private schools. They typically are pro-life. They also often oppose environmental regulations and favor tax cuts in general, where critics might say it's taxes for the rich. Republicans would counter that they just favor lower taxes for everybody, and that since rich people tend to pay more taxes, that, well, then sure. And they typically strongly oppose any kind of gun regulation. So again, this is a brief sketch of the two parties and how they're influenced by political ideologies in the United States. So until next time, this has been a La Money production. Thanks again for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Hit that like button for me if you can. Subscribe if you haven't already. See you guys next time.